breaking news from Natural Television, Ankara, Turkey. My name is Sauda Mganga. Welcome to our news program. France should face crimes in Africa, Turkish spokesman said in Ankara. French authorities should face the human rights violation and murders they were involved in from Cameroon to Algeria, Turkey's ruling party spokesman said on Monday. Facing history is essential for France, Omer Chelik told reporters following a Central Executive Committee meeting of his ruling Justice and Development AK party. What France should judicially face from Cameroon to Algeria are the acts of human rights violations and killings by the French authorities. Our news go to Afghan president willing to offer ceasefire to Taliban. In Kabul, Afghanistan, President Mohammed Ashraf Khan on Monday extended an olive branch to the Taliban, offering the release of prisoners and a ceasefire to pave way for peace talks in the war-ravaged country. Addressing a large gathering at the presidential palace, Khan expressed profound optimism for the peace talks to prove successful this year. I particularly thank the European Union for the pledges in the regard, he said. The Afghan leader also renewed his call to offer security and offices to the Taliban. He undermined the need of an Afghan-owned and Afghan-led peace process. Let's talk about the U.S., which wants to Saudi aid punished in Khashoggi killings. In Washington, the U.S. is asking Saudi Arabia behind closed doors to hold a former top official implicated in the murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi to account, according to a report published on Monday. Riyadh has thus far staunchly resisted U.S. pressure to take action against Saudi Al-Qaeda over Khashoggi's October 2nd slaying in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. The West Street Journal reported, citing anonymous Saudi and American officials. Al-Khattan previously served as the de facto right-hand man to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, a post he was since been formally removed from, even as he continued to serve as an informal advisor of the Saudi Arabia's royal court. We don't see that Saudi Al-Khatani is very constrained in his activities, an anonymous senior State Department official told the newspaper. Al-Khatani was one of the 17 Saudi sanctioned by the U.S. in December over Khashoggi's killing. Turkey is also seeking his extradition. Saudi officials confirmed to the journal that he remains an informal advisor to bin Salman, the kingdom's de facto ruler, even after he was fired by Saudi King Salman. Pressure has continued on the U.S. administration to hold bin Salman personally responsible for Khashoggi's killing, but it has so far resisted. Last Friday, President Donald Trump ignored a congressional deadline to publicly determine whether sanctions are warranted against bin Salman. In Istanbul, 4 soldiers martyred in helicopter crashed. At least 4 soldiers were martyred Monday when the helicopter crashed during emergency landing in Istanbul, the provincial government said. Ali Yeril Kaya told reporters the helicopter crashed near a residential area in Çekmeköy district at 6:51 p.m. local time. The cause of the crash remains unknown, he added. The National Defense Ministry confirmed the death toll on Twitter and said an investigation into crash had been launched. Following a comprehensive investigation, the result will be shared, he said. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan issued a condolence message in an ensuing hour. We deeply feel the pain of our losses with our nation, he said. Parliament Speaker Binali Yildirim expressed sadness and extended condolences on Twitter. Main opposition Republican People's Party CHP leader Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu also offered his condolences. The Anadolu Third Penal Court of Peace in Istanbul imposed a broadcast ban on the incident to prevent the spread of misinformation. In Washington, Trump and Bolton slammed Iran as it celebrates anniversary. U.S. President Donald Trump and National Security Advisor John Bolton lashed out Monday at Iran as it celebrated the 40th anniversary of Islamic Revolution. 40 years of corruption, 40 years of repression, 40 years of terror. The regime in Iran has produced only 40 years of failure, Trump said on Twitter. The long-suffering Iranian people deserve a much brighter future. Trump also tweets the message in Persian, slamming Iranians' leadership. In Washington, FETÖ member sentenced for lying about Azerbaijani trip. A member of the Fethullah terrorist organization was on Monday fined $20,000 and ordered to complete 100 hours of community service for his role in scheme to conceal the funding source for a trip he arranged for U.S. lawmakers to Azerbaijan. Kemal Oksuz, a U.S. resident, was indicated by the Justice Department after he lied on disclosure forms filled with the House of Representatives Committee on Ethics before and after the trip, which was made in 2013 by 10 members of Congress and 32 staffers. Oksuz served as president of the Houston-based Turquoise Council of American and Eurasians, an umbrella organization for FETÖ's many non-profits in the U.S. The businessman falsely claimed that the trip was being sponsored by the TACAE without any funds from outside sources, when in reality the money was coming from the Azerbaijan government through its state's oil company SOCAR. Oksuz was detained in Armenia in August and extradited in the U.S. pursuant to a warrant regarding committing fraud to Congress, while U.S. District Court Judge Tanya Chutkan noted that the usual sentence for this crime is 6 to 12 months in prison, said, "I don't see that the purposes of sentencing are going to be further advanced by sending Oksuz to prison." However, Chutkan did mention the severity of the crime, and while Oksuz is being released, he will be monitored for the first 3 months after the sentence. It is still a serious offense, the violation of which undermines the integrity of our political system, she said. Oksuz is also being sought to FETÖ membership charges in Turkey. FETÖ and its US-based leader Fethullah Gulen request the defeated coup of July 15, 2016, which led 251 people martyred and nearly 2,200 injured. Ankara also accuses FETÖ of being behind a long-running campaign to overthrow the state through infiltration of Turkish institutions, particularly the military, police, and judiciary. Tehran, Iran will not withdraw forces from region, commander. A top Iranian military official on Monday said his country will not withdraw its troops from the region, rebutting repeated calls by Washington to curb the country's influence in the Middle East, Iranian's official Irana news agency reported. "The enemy cannot ask us to leave the region," IRN quoted Hussein Salma, deputy head of Iranian's Revolution Guards Corps, RGC, as saying. "They must leave the region," he added, addressing a Monday raid held to mark the 40th anniversary of Iranian's 1979 Islamic Revolution. In a related development, RGC spokesman Ramazan Sharif declared Monday that Iran was safeguarding its national borders with what he described as effective military capabilities, vowing to aggressively punish any aggressors. Since Iran's devastating 8-year war with Iraq, 1980 to 1988, Sharif said his country's defensive capabilities have been greatly strengthened. On Monday, raids were held in capital Tehran and across the country to mark the passage for 4 decades since the 1979 revolution, which ended the rule of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, the last Shahi of Iran. Thank you so much for watching. You can check our YouTube channels on Natural Television or send us messages on WhatsApp number that's written on your screen. Thank you so much. Sauda Muganga, Natural Television, Ankara, Turkey. See you soon.